Anyway, we're in the next section now. Gamers are dead.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a gamer? If so, what does that mean to you?
Um, it really depends on what we're saying. Um, if we're saying a person who plays video games, then yes. If we're saying an identity, no, because I don't like taking on consumer identities. I just it's something that I do not. I'm very if you my critiques on how things work. I think that they foist identities onto us in order to control our behavior in various ways, and I think that that's a vector for getting consumer behaviors, buying, stuff like that. I for me, gamer is a word that means one who games. And again, if that is what a gamer is, somebody who plays video games, yes, I'm a gamer. But if like we're talking about identity, which I think we kind of are, I don't agree with the whole gamer identity. But you'll also find that I have probably a different opinion on what all of those articles about gamer identity and ending it were actually about as well.
Well, we're gonna get to that in a second.
Yeah.
On August 28th, 2014, 10 competing publications all published articles on the same day calling for an end to the gamer identity. These 10 articles were followed by 9 additional articles on other mostly gaming sites over the next few days. Also calling actually, so I this is an old question list because I don't interview that many neutral people anymore.
Sure.
I've changed the wording for the pro gamer for the other ones for the pros and maybe the antis. I don't know. I've
Right.
tried to make it more neutral sounding because like calling for an end,
Mhm.
I think it should be we're perceived as calling for an end to the gamer identity. That's more neutral framing. Anyway, let me re-word the question
Sure.
because I fucked it up. On August 28th, 2014, 10 competing publications all published articles on the same day calling for an end to the gamer identity. These 10 articles were followed by 9 additional articles on other mostly gaming sites over the next few days, also calling for an end to the gamer identity. Do you have any thoughts on these articles? That's how it's written in the neutral question list.
Right. I do have thoughts on them. I don't think that that makes any sense to publish. I just flat out I don't understand it. Like you cuz these were mainly gaming publications that published. Am I right?
Mostly, yeah. Well, one was a blog. What's his name? Dan Golding, and then like a couple like non-gaming sites did too. But
But like the higher profile ones were gaming sites because that was if I remember I thought that this was an odd thing to do. I just think that it sounds very pushy. And my personal beef with consumer identity is not about like people saying I'm a blank. I'm a gamer, I'm a vegan, I'm a whatever. My beef with it is how they transform something that is ultimately like a thing we do or a trait of ours into our entire being. I don't like that. I think that that's a problem. But that's also not what those articles were talking about. They were, if I remember right, very surface level, very and please, correct me if I'm saying anything incorrect about these articles. But I remember them. I remember at that time, even though I was on the I don't like GamerGate side, I did not like these articles. I know, like when people would ask me about them, I would not positively mention them. I wouldn't talk about them because I was like, why? What is the point of this? What are you trying to get at? Um, I feel like they were just kind of like it's almost the same thing as what the Sweet Baby Inc. thing is. Like, is it really a bad thing to, you know, think about diversity in games? No, it's not. But there's a way to go about it that is true to life, and there's a way to go about it that is what Sweet Baby Inc. does, where they start talking about how all of the mainstream gamers are picky babies who cry all the time and hate whenever anybody gives something to them that they didn't explicitly ask for. And it's like, well, who do you think? Who do you? What are you? What are you saying this stuff for? Why are you saying hey, people who consume my product, you suck. Like I don't get that. I don't. It's such a blatantly like antagonistic move to do. And then the fact that it was the same day is also very weird. Like, yes, I'm sure to some extent, at least a couple of them would have been done based on a sort of trying to get to a topic that they see another outlet doing. But I don't think that you can do 10 of them on the same day and say that that's what it is. I don't think that's how that works. I think people don't have the same idea and cover the same thing. I think that's weird, and I think that it's antagonistic for no real reason.
Right. Well, and what's interesting, like so, like obviously, if there's a news story, 10 outlets covering it is one thing, but this wasn't. This were opinion pieces.
It's not. It's an opinion piece. It's
It's
not a news story.
that's what's. I think
This
that's
is
what's
an
telling.
op-ed essentially. It
Yeah.
is not.
Well, not an op-ed because
It.
I use that phrase incorrectly in the past too. Apparently, op-ed means you're opposite of the editorial team.
Oh well, that is not what I thought that meant.
Apparently,
However,
let me double check because I don't want to spread fake news. But it is well, according to Wikipedia says GamerGate's a harassment campaign to destroy Brianna Wu's life and drive her from her home. So I don't know if that's true either. Uh, but according to Wikipedia, an op-ed is a short newspaper column that represents the strong, informed, focused opinion of a writer on an issue of relevance to a targeted audience. Wait, what the fuck? That's a different definition. Was I wrong? I
well,
thought
that
it
was
meant
the
opposite
definition
the
I just
editorial.
used.
Yeah, that's the bit you use. So was I spreading fake news?
I don't know.
I
One of
thought
us
it
was.
had to be no,
Maybe it
but
means.
no. Harvard University has a different definition. Wikipedia is wrong, unless Harvard's wrong. Harvard says an
Well, if
op-ed
you
piece.
remember, Wikipedia doesn't have to be truthful. That was the NPR lady saying that
Well, it
recently.
doesn't. All they need to do is be able to cite a quote unquote journalistic source or a
Yeah.
website, right? As long as they can cite like a journalist who said it, it can be in
Mm-hmm.
there. But anyway, here's what it says: an op-ed. I'll link it so that we don't.
Sure.
Not that I would lie about this or like why would I? But it says an
Yeah, it's
op-ed
I
piece
don't
derives
not
its
trust you
name
on this one.
from originally having appeared opposite the editorial page in a newspaper.
Interesting.
Today the term is used more widely to represent a column that represents the strong, informed, and focused opinion of a writer on an issue of relevance to a targeted audience. Okay, so it looks like historically it was only used in this one context, but it's since been expanded.
It means both things at this point. It
Okay.
seems like. But either way, it's an opinion piece. It's not journalism. It's the opinion of the writer as opposed to uh
You cut out.
or uh object, I guess would be the other thing
You
that you
cut
could
out.
report on.
The last we heard, it represents the opinion of the writer, and then it cut out.
As opposed to objectively reporting an event or an object.
Yeah. Why do you think they
So,
wrote these articles? Oh, do you have more to say? Sorry.
well, why do I think they wrote these articles? I think, again, this is the same reason why I think that these outlets wanted the Sweet Baby Inc. thing to turn into Gamergate too. I do think that even though this was much earlier on in the attention economy, at this point they did know that engagement was the metric by which they were able to measure attention, their success, whether they were using attention as their uh, goal or not. Engagement has always been like your metric for success on social media. And I think that they know and knew at this point that if they got people arguing with each other and they were at the center of that argument, that spreads their name. And ultimately, if people are arguing about them, it doesn't really brand them any specific way. At least that's what I think that they're thinking. I think that it was, in a lot of ways, a means to be talked about, to be noteworthy. And I think that a lot of things are done for that reason by a lot of these outlets because, I mean, even back a decade ago, a lot of these outlets were really worried about where um, journalism, I guess that's not the right word because I don't really consider these outlets journalism personally. Um, but the press, I guess, is probably the best way to put it. A lot of these outlets have a lot of people who are worried about the direction of the press because they have jobs in this industry, which was at that point, I think, even more. I think people were more worried about the precarity of the industry at that point. At this point, I think they're aware that it's extremely precarious, and that's just part of the operating um, assumptions. But at that point, like there were a lot of people that are very worried. Twitter destroying journalism? Is Twitter destroying? And obviously, people had an inflated sense of importance who were using the words journalism to talk about what I consider hobbyist reporting. I think more or less, most of these outlets are a version of Nintendo Power for various different demographics. Um, Fandom magazines like Kotaku, Polygon were kind of for gaming for wokes. Um,
Well,
you
Polygon
know,
advertises themselves as that. Kotaku doesn't officially.
yeah, but they are. I mean,
Well, yeah, de facto, they pretty much are.
every time I see a Kotaku article, I'm just like instantly annoyed by it because I know that it's attempting to pander. And the thing is I don't even have to disagree with an article if I know that it's trying to pander. It pisses me off. Like if I feel like I'm being pandered to, even if I agree with the thing, I feel kind of angry about like it. I don't know exactly why it is, but I'm bothered by it. I don't know.
Kit Astro sent me another link. It says that it's written an opinion piece written by someone who's not employed by the newspaper or magazine and stands for opposite editorial. Okay, so it looks like this
Okay.
is a definition that's being disputed like actively in the world. I
Yeah,
personally,
sounds
you know
like
what?
there's a discussion.
If it does indeed stand for opposite editorial, and that was the original definition, I think it should remain that. I think you can just say opinion piece if it's not opposite the editorial. I don't know. What do you think?
Either way, like
I like
I'm
concise
perfectly
language.
comfortable calling it opinion piece
But
because
I
that's
think
what
it's
it is. I
cool.
mean, it's
I
just
think
people's
op I
opinion.
think I think opposite the editorial sounds cool
Op-ed
though, doesn't it?
sounds
It
awesome, to
sounds
be fair.
awesome. It
Yeah.
does sound really awesome.
I love saying op-ed. It does sound
It
cool.
rolls off the. That's why people are changing the definition. They all know it sounds so cool, so
I
everyone wants to
just want to
call their thing
say
an op-ed.
op-ed, man.
Exactly. But you're not. But unless it's opposite the editorial, it's like I
Yeah.
personally, I personally, I feel like sometimes broadening definitions doesn't need to happen. I feel like we could just keep it op-ed. But I don't really have any skin in the game. I don't really care, except my personal preference.
Yeah.
Why is op-ed
Well,
cool? What makes it sound cool?
because it sounds like a word itself, I think. It sounds like a word that was made for the thing that we're referring to. Like opinion piece is two words. We know that we know what an opinion is and we know what a piece is, you know? And you're describing it using two different words. Whereas with op-ed, it sounds like a single word and we all know what it's referring to without
Well,
having to.
apparently we don't, though, right?
Well, I mean, you and I both know what we're talking about here. But yes, like in terms of precision, maybe not necessarily. I don't know.
I don't, man. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I should do with this because I'm asking you questions from the neutral question list, which is so far out of date. I feel like the pro GamerGate and even the anti GamerGate lists are better because I have done some updating of it over the past 6 months, but it's
Hmm.
it's it's so out of date. Like the next question isn't even what I ask anymore. It's do you think there
Right.
are some negative aspects of gaming culture?
Well, I mean, there's some negative aspects of every culture. So it's kind of hard to. Yes, but like that. If I say yes, I think I'm saying something that's true of like if I were to say no, there are no aspects of gaming culture, that's kind of an absurd answer because there's no such thing as a culture with no negative aspects. I don't know. Yes, I think there are some negative aspects of gaming culture. I think that gaming culture um could be a more actually like I'm using the word consumer as to denote the people who are not making the games and selling the games. I do think that the culture of games could be more consumer driven, and I'm not saying that as though I mean I think that the outlets, developers, and publishers need to pander to the consumers. I think consumers should be in more control of things. I think that the people who are on our end of the gaming, as opposed to the developer end of the gaming or the publisher end of the gaming, it would be nicer if we had a little more control.
By the
And I
way,
think,
oh, sorry.
go ahead.
I thought you were done. No, no, please continue.
Go ahead. No, I don't have
By the
anything
way,
else
I'm a
to.
little bit sad, people. I know you're watching the stream. I got a bunch of retweets yesterday when I tweeted this out, but I didn't get any today, except for well, by you, I guess I did. But remember yesterday? I think even like even some famous people like Ash Short retweeted our stream that got cut short.
Yeah,
Um,
Vito retweeted it.
yeah, but today it's because I don't pay for Twitter, so Twitter doesn't boost my stuff. It only got 70 views. Can you believe this? So I hate that you
I
have to
pay my
pay for
Twitter
Twitter.
and
I hate
I
that you
pay my
have to.
Twitter and I don't get a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but well, really?
I
You don't
pay my Twitter tax.
So, but yeah, if you feel sad, actually, you know what? Wait, is it legal? It doesn't violate Twitter TOS if I ask people to retweet something?
I don't think so.
Well, I won't ask them to retweet it. I'll just say, hey, look at this tweet I made. How about that? There we go. Look at the tweet I made.
Engage with it.